What's up, guys? Welcome back to MCubed. As always, I am Schmook, and we're here to do episode 9 of Star Wars Saga, which is called The Rise of Skywalker. Now, I remember going to see this movie in theaters, and it hit me a certain way when I saw it originally in theaters that I really enjoyed it. Obviously, because it was probably just because it was the last film within the saga. Hype of watching these movies is probably just going to go down dramatically now that the saga's finished. So, was it a fulfilling movie-going experience? I'll say yes. Even though after multiple rewatches, I do think this is it's hard for me to decide if I like this one or The Last Jedi Believe, I think they are easily my two least favorite of the entire saga, and ultimately it's which one do I find more enjoyable? I think I might find this one slightly more enjoyable because it has certain scenes and certain writing that I appreciate more, because I like seeing our main characters back together. It feels good. The trio's back, which I like. I will say they really messed up Finn's character, where I really wish they just did something else with The Last Jedi with his character. Would have made him one of the best Star Wars characters out there. But I think they kind of messed him up. They try to hint towards a certain thing towards the end of the movie, but it's throughout the whole movie, it's he's not doing anything to show that, at least not much. So again, ultimately, was it a fulfilling experience for me when I went to see it in the theaters the first time? Yes. But ultimately, over time, is it a good experience? And I'm gonna say no. I think it's too messy of a film where it keeps trying to backpedal off what The Last Jedi did, try to erase some of what was said before. They made Rose a huge back burner character, who I did not mention much in the Last Jedi video. Hate to say, I thought she was fine. I just know she's one of the most hated characters in the Star Wars fandom. I don't think she's that bad, but I don't think she's great either. I just don't love what they do with certain things with her character in The Last Jedi. But in this movie, they literally just put her on the back burner. She doesn't matter whatsoever in this movie. But with The Rise of Skywalker, I will say ultimately, it has unbelievable cinematography at times. The music, of course, is unbelievable. I'll say that the same with The Last Jedi. Of course, I forgot to mention the score, but which is hard to do with John Williams. But I think John Williams, ultimately, he's the best part of the entire sequel trilogy. I think he actually went off with each and every score. I think that's the real MVP of the sequel trilogy. But when it comes to acting, I think that's probably out of all the movies, I think this one has the weakest acting out of the new characters. Still think Kylo's great in this movie. I think when towards the end, he has a great moment. I think, of course, Daisy Ridley's great, but again, John Boyega's really barely, I feel like he's barely in the movie, which sucks. I feel like C-3PO is an MVP of this movie, which I really enjoy because I love C-3PO getting his time in the spotlight, right? But ultimately, I just think the acting was kind of whatever. This movie really has the most positive things to this movie is some choreography and fighting choreography, as well as cinematography. There's a certain scene on the Death Star 2 which I think is remarkable. It's a perfect mix of the new trilogy of fighting, the original trilogy of fighting, and prequel trilogy of fighting, which I really enjoy. That's one of my favorite lightsaber battles in general, and I think it's a cool spot to shoot it on. Again, I say there's so much you could have done better within the sequel trilogy than what was done, but it is what it is. So ultimately, did I have a good experience with The Rise of Skywalker? Ultimately, no, but off the get-go, yes. I thought it was just a fun movie. I remember coming out of that with a better taste in my mouth than The Last Jedi, but ultimately, over time, I think The Last Jedi might end up being a better movie than The Rise of Skywalker, because I think The Rise of Skywalker is a pretty messy film. Pretty messy, and a lot of it, again, is just being let's just try to, we're gonna continue off The Last Jedi, we're also gonna try to retcon some things in the meantime. It's just them trying to play keep up, but there's some really good stuff in there. There's good stuff, but there's just all the stuff with Palpatine I just think makes zero sense. I'm don't do what you did with Snoke in The Last Jedi. It could have been a much better saga, or a much better trilogy. They just try to do so much different, where it's just just make a good story. You don't have to completely wipe out what the person before you did to make your movie. Just try to, you could tell there was just no planning whatsoever with the sequel trilogy, which I think is the biggest mistake. It's how do you not have pinpoints of what you need to be done in these movies, where it just felt you let whoever's writing the movie just go after it and do it. And unfortunately, this is a movie where Chris Terrio got completely murked on, unfortunately, just Justice League, for example, where the studio plays a heavy interference, where this is supposed to be a different movie. I feel this would have been a much better movie if it was still the Colin Trevorrow Duel of the Fates movie that was going to be happening. I think that would have been a much better finale to the saga. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna ultimately say to skip it, or you could go watch it and be cautious, but ultimately for me, it's a skip it. I know The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker are only movies I would show people if they have never seen Star Wars in general. It's just not a movie I would personally rewatch out of satisfaction, Alright, guys, make sure to like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on the sequel trilogy as a whole, as well as just The Rise of Skywalker. Alright, guys, I will catch y'all very soon. Bye-bye.